Hello everyone. It's James again. And before I start today's video, I just want to quickly say, all work in this video contains 100% original content of and by myself James Smith, otherwise known as Bgood 4000, and was uniquely created with NAWMAL software, by myself James Smith. As I purchased commercial rights from NAWMAL to produce my unique and original video with this software. Commentary is uniquely my own thoughts, feelings, and expressions. Now that I have that out of the way, I do hope your day is going way better than fantastic. And your journey to self-betterment is going way better than fantastic as well. Today I wanted to talk about guarding your heart, and what that looks like and why you should consider doing it. As this question was asked by a subscriber recently. And this is a great question, and it's gotten me to think about some things and a way I can explain it. You see, we are living more and more in a world filled with narcissism. And it's my humble cartoon belief that the world that is being shaped by the societal narcissists. You know, the narcissists that dictate the pace of society and what people like and dislike. Well, though narcissism has been around since the beginning of time, or at least for biblical references, the fall of Satan, and from then on, we have seen a lot of backstabbing, manipulating, envy of one's own brother or sister. So much so, Joseph, or Yosef, the famous prince of Egypt, was sold into bondage by his envious brothers at the beginning of his life story. Why did this happen? Because Yosef underestimated the envy of his brothers and told his brothers of his dream, on how he would be basically the head of everything one day. And because Yosef was favored by their father because of his decent nature, his envious brothers captured their brother and sold him. Then they told their father that a wild animal ended Yosef's life. Now I want you to think about this for a moment. These individuals sold their young brother. They literally sold their brother to God knows who. And then told their father that his beloved young son was no longer living and met a terrible end to the fangs and claws of a wild animal. And they watched their father grieve, cry, and feel sick over this news. What's the point of understanding this? Even your own family can turn you over to the enemy, and even worse, they can end your life in some instances. You see, though narcissism has been a problem for a long time, and I don't want to look at the past as some sort of perfect moment in time, because it wasn't. I'm sure there would be a great many that grew up in generations past that will tell the same. But there are many that did have a wonderful experience. And some of them are still living to tell of their story. These are the elderly couples that are 80 and 90 years old. They look at each other in wonderment still, with love in their eyes, as they give each other a kiss and laugh. They still hold hands. And they still sit as close as they can to one another. They don't talk negatively about each other. You know the kind of talk. I can't just wait until he or she leaves the house. Then I can have time without them. Or you know the type. The ones that purposely leave them home while they go on vacation with other people. Other than the person they married and that was supposed to be their best friend. No. These types that are still sitting as close as they can to one another. They usually have something in common with one another. And that is they met when they were really young. They likely lived around the corner from one another. They went to the same grade school together. So forth and so on. And it was that growing up process. They got to see what kind of people one another were. If they were a manipulator or violent, it's not impossible, but it might be somewhat difficult to hide from grade school all the way up through high school. And this is how, when many people got old enough, figured out if certain people were good for them or not. So when they did choose someone to marry and to be with, there was a chance. Not a perfect chance. Because narcissism did exist, and so did narcissistic families. Crazy narcissistic families. But so did healthy loving families as well. And the problem is now people are regulated to meeting people on dating apps. Or at a bar or nightclub. and hoping you are meeting someone that is genuine, loving and not dangerous. And we hear it all of the time now. They met on a dating app and things were going great. Then a year later, this horrible thing happened or that horrible thing happened. Or we are told, at least from a man's point of view, as I'm a humble cartoon man, that if you make a ton of money, you will have the pick of any woman you want to be with. But one has to ask themselves, what kind of woman? What kind of woman? You see, I recently watched a video of Tyrone Magnus. He makes a lot of reaction videos and he can be quite funny sometimes. And he just made a video about his girlfriend, and how he was approached by a man wanting to know how he landed such a beautiful woman that Tyrone is with, Scarlo. And Tyrone told him all about self-improvement. But when he got to money, he said yes, it helps. But it can also attract the wrong people into your life. And here's the important part, Tyrone added, that he started dating Scarlo. And Scarlo liked Tyrone way before Tyrone had any kind of money. And I do remember one of his videos some time ago, where he mentioned she used to come around as she was family or friends with people he knew. And she liked him even way back then. You see, you want people that like you for you, that really like you for who you are. And in today's day and age, this is very difficult to find. Because a great many people have drank from the narcissistic punch bowl. And they measure their lives on unrealistic standards. And even if you don't have exactly what they want, you might have something that they can still get from you, at least right now. And if you aren't careful, they might pretend to care and love you and blah blah and blah. And then when you are all used up, they will discard you coldly, meanly, and like you never meant anything to them. And the reason why is because you never did mean anything to them. And this brings me to this news story. This is the story of Lindsay Shiver, a former Georgia, I believe, beauty queen, and her husband Robert, a former NFL player and now in the life insurance business. And it's alleged that Lindsay hired or allegedly hired someone she was allegedly cheating on Robert with, to delete and end the life of her husband Robert. It's been reported one of the people connected to all of this was arrested for something completely different to begin with. Allegedly robbery or something like that. But after going through their phone, they allegedly found text messages plotting the end of Robert at the alleged request of Lindsay. Now the odd part of all of this is, it's been reported that Robert allegedly just paid for the $100,000 bail to get all three that were arrested for this crime out of jail to await trial. Look, I don't know their story completely. I do know they have children. But this goes back to guarding your heart. The first thing I would want to find out if the affair was true. If it's true. If I was able to see enough to make me believe it was true. The only concern would be for my children and myself. But this isn't what and how society wants you to behave. And again, innocent until proven guilty. I'm sure the facts will come out. But if this is true, just as an example, and I think there were other cases like this before. One that I remember was Dalia Dipolito, where she tried to hire a friend to end the life of her husband. And this friend called the police and they set her up to see if she would willingly go through it. And she did. She pretended to go to the gym, and came back to find the police telling her that someone ended her husband's life. And that's when the fake tears started. And blah blah and blah. And this goes both ways. There are many stories of men trying to do this to their wives. I believe there was a dentist that was recently accused of this. But when you hear the jail phone calls between Dahlia and her husband, you can hear her husband trying to still help her out. He was trying to talk her through the situation. Even though he knew what was going on and what had happened. He heard the tapes and watched the video for himself. She wanted to end his life, and was cruel and evil about the entire thing. Yet here he was trying to help her out. Guarding your heart means not everyone needs to know your blessings. If you are financially well-to-do, not everyone needs to know that. If you have a really nice car, great. Enjoy driving a nice car you've worked for. But it wouldn't hurt buying an old car for your second car. Clean, presentable, but nothing rich or fancy. And drive that when you are meeting someone for the first several times. Don't bring everyone to your home so they can see what you have and don't have. Again, there are some well-to-do people that might keep the first small house or condo apartment they ever bought, even though they now live in a big spacious home. When they are getting to know someone, they drive their basic inexpensive car, and they hang out with them at their tiny small apartment or house. Is that lying? No. No. You don't have to spill every detail about your life and finances to everyone you meet. Because if you do, you might meet someone like Dahlia. Someone that might pretend to love you and care about you, but is plotting behind your back to end your life and take your money that they would likely spend up within a year if they got away with it. And you see these types of individuals doing this all of the time. Because they become metaphorically drunk with their own so-called successes. The more they go through life scapegoating people and this and that, and lying and manipulating, they think this is another situation they can do the same thing with. I'm pretty sure Dahlia and the many other people that have done such a thing already have it in their mind. They will just blame the hit person for doing what they did and they know nothing about it. If you are on the phone with someone that just tried to end your life, and you are still trying to help them, the last thing you are doing at the moment is guarding your heart. Yes. There are some great people in the world and many life experiences to be had. Great life experiences. But not everyone means you well either. Yes. Better yourself. No matter you are a man or woman. Get out there in life and do the best you can. But along the way, understand not everyone should be celebrating in your life wins. I enjoy watching Scarlo and Tyrone together. Because they are truly like a younger version of those cute elderly couples. They laugh all the time. And it seems to be true that they ended up with each other not because of money, or this or that, but because they both saw quality in one another. Only time will tell. But it seems to be that way for them. With that said, don't be afraid or shy in life. Just be careful. The Bible tells us there are wolves in this world dressed as sheep. They pretend to be us. They pretend to be caring and loving and helpful. And it's all an act to get you to not guard your heart. So should you stop being caring, loving and helpful? No. Be that. But self-reflect during and after. Make sure you aren't doing too much. Ask yourself, am I showing good boundaries here? And when in doubt, just slow things down. If this person or these people appreciate you, they will understand. Dahlia thought she was going to get a payday. And if it's true about Lindsay, again, innocent until proven guilty. But if it's true, it's likely the same story. The sad reality is there are some people in the world that think like lizards. They are truly snakes in human form. They are truly demons in human suits. Because you would think, why not be happy with the person you are with? But it appears there is something dark and evil driving them to do something else. Something extremely evil. But just look for the signs. If this person wants to be by your side all of the time, and then 2 years later they don't want you to come along to a vacation because they just need to be away from you, ask yourself what happened here. Wait a minute. This person couldn't be around me enough. Now they don't want to be around me. I don't understand. Well, if this has happened to you, this is a first sign that cheating is likely happening. A lot of people say, I wish I could have a relationship like those old people down the street. Well, when they are asked about their relationship, They say. They are always together. You can't pull them apart. They are truly each other's helper in life and they love being with one another. And again, this myth that fighting or arguing with your spouse is completely normal. But is it though? What if you have someone that you're with and you have the same beliefs? Yes. One person might like spinach and the other person doesn't. But that's not what we are talking about here. You see, those that run society want you to think that going rounds and rounds in an argument with someone you are dating or married to is healthy. So when you find yourself with a narcissist and this is happening, you stick it out with them. You might even be trying to help them out when they are in jail for hiring someone to end your life. All because society is telling you to throw your heart onto the chopping block because it's so romantic. And the truth is, it's not romantic. And all it does is take time away from your life so you can't end up with someone that really and truly loves you. Guarding your heart means, not everyone means you well. No matter how nice they seem to be today. Guarding your heart means taking things slow and self-reflecting. Guarding your heart means not everyone needs to know everything. Let people earn their spot in your life. It's okay. You aren't a bad person for being careful. There are many examples of people in the Bible hiding away from evil people. Or Samson being told to hide the secret to the strength being in his long hair. And most of us know how that story ended up. It's like I've said before in a video debating with demons. Go and watch it if you haven't done so. But you are giving your life plans and telling all of your information to a demon. Is it okay to be forthcoming? Sure. But just know when your point is to reel things back in. Slow things down and self-reflect. And you will hopefully have tons of laughter and joy like Tyrone and Scarlo. I hope this answers your question. Please leave your comments below. I would like to know what you think. With that said, I do hope your day is blessed. And until next time. Bye for now. And be good to yourself.